All right, here we are for 2.2. Now 2.2 and 2.3 are going to be combined here in these notes. So it's the same note video, but you're just going to go ahead and do 2.2, which is going to be separate than 2.3. Just a little extra steps for 2.3. All right, so let's get started with our notes. So when we are solving for inequalities, this is getting x by itself. It's very similar to what we did in Unit 1, where you're doing the PEMDAS backwards, right? Adding or subtracting away from that x, and then multiplying or dividing away from the x. The only difference here is that we have to flip the inequality symbol when we multiply or divide by a negative number. And you're going to see in a couple examples where we're going to talk about that. One more thing to point out is make sure that it is letter symbol number when you're graphing. If it's not letter symbol number, you got to go in the opposite direction that it's pointing. All right, let's get started with our first problem here. 3x plus 2 is less than negative 4. So we're going to solve this just like we normally would. So we're going to minus 2 from both sides. So that gives you 3x is less than negative 6. Okay, I'm going to divide by 3 to both sides. So that gives you x is less than negative 2. I didn't multiply or divide by a negative number, so I'm just keeping that just the same. Okay, I'm going to find where I want negative 2 on here. So I'm going to put it right here. Open circle, and it's letter symbol number, so I'm going to shade in the direction that it's pointing. Let's do another one. So again, same thing, we're just solving like we normally would. So I'm going to minus 2 to both sides. So that gives me x divided by 6 is greater than negative 3. Dividing by 6, I'm going to multiply by 6. Oops. So that gives me x is greater than negative 18. Again, only multiplied or divided by a positive number so far. So I'm going to figure out where I want negative 18. Let's put it right here. Okay, open circle and shading in the direction that it's pointing. Beautiful. All right, let's talk 11 and 12. So, again, exact same steps, minus 8 from both sides. So that gives you negative 7x is less than or equal to negative 7. Here I'm going to divide by negative 7. And I'm going to highlight this question and the fact that I just divided by a negative. That's going to remind me, hey, flip that sign. All right, so that gives me x. Got to flip it, so now it's going to be greater than or equal to, and that'll be a 1. So I'm going to put where I want 1 on here. It's going to be a closed circle. And I'm shading in the direction that it's pointing. All right, let's do 12. 12 is another example. We're going to have to flip it. I'm going to add 5 to both sides first. So that gives me x divided by negative 8 is less than 3. Now I'm going to multiply by negative 8 on both sides, which gives me x, flip your sign, negative 24. The great thing about these blank number lines is I can put negative 24 wherever I want. I'm going to put it right here. Okay, that's going to be an open circle. There's no line underneath. It's in letter symbol number form, so I shade in the direction that it's pointing. 13 I've already done for you, so take a moment, work through it, check yourself. If you've got questions, make sure you let me know. All right, here's 14. So it's a positive 3, so I'm going to minus 3 from both sides. Whoa! Sometimes these things have a mind of their own. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to minus 3 here. So that leaves me with negative 4x is less than 28. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 4. Again, highlight the fact that I divided here. Just double check my symbol at the end. So that gives me x. Flip my symbol, and that's going to be negative 7. Okay, so I'm going to figure out where I would like negative 7. I'm going to put it right here. Open circle. I'm going to shade in the direction that it's pointing. Beautiful. Let's work out 15 here. So I'm going to minus 5 from both sides. So that gives me 3 over 4x is greater than 6. Now, one thing that I picked this problem for is because, remember, when we have fractions, we can't divide by a fraction that doesn't make sense. So we're going to multiply by its reciprocal. So we're going to flip and multiply. And remember, if you don't remember how to multiply by a fraction, multiply across, divide by that bottom number. So 6 times 4 is 24. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So we have x is greater than 8. Okay, I'm going to pick where I want 8 on here. Open circle. And we are shading in the direction that it's pointing. Beautiful. All right, 17 and 18 I have done for you. So again, take a moment, work through those two problems. If you've got a question, let me know. I did the same with 19. All right, so now let's look at 20. 20 I picked because it's a little bit different than the other ones, where it's dividing by -2. So I have to get rid of that first. You have to think of this top one as kind of in parentheses. So I'm going to multiply by -2 to both sides first. Hey, look, I've got to flip my symbol. Okay, so that gives me x plus 11. I multiplied by a negative number, so I have to flip my sign, and that's going to be 4 on this side. Going to minus 11 to both sides, which gives it x is now greater than 7. Negative. Okay, so I'm going to pick where I want my -7 to go. Let's go right here. Okay, open circle because there's no line underneath, and I'm going to shade in the direction that it's pointing. All right, that concludes today's notes. It was rapid fire, so if you need to slow it down, go back, rewatch, no problem at all. This video is for 2.2 and 2.3. So go ahead and do both of those videos, both of those practices associated with this, and then come back to